the fruit of the land as well as of the culture and tradition of man. Respecting the land and respecting our ancient Oplenats vineyards and our village of Vincia, which in ancient Roman times was named after wine, from the Latin word vincere, we've restored old family vineyards and developed new ones. The vineyards are in places mentioned in old stories, in people's memories, and in ancient records as places which have always given birth to the best wine of the Oplenats region. To honor the family traditions of the old Oplenats wine growers, we vowed that Oplenats would once again be surrounded by vines, and Vincia will once again be Vincea, a village built on wine. Like man, wine has its own lineage, not only in its roots deep in the land, but also in the time devoted to it by man, crafting it through generations. At the same time, this is also the spiritual lineage of every winemaker, inscribed in the lineage of our wines, our Roman legionnaires who named our village Vincea, enjoying the wine from this land, replenishing their strength to defend the limes on the Danube. In the DNA of our vines are recorded the names of the vine growers who intertwined Oplenats in the wreath of grapes nurturing medieval monastery lands, or caring for the wine destined for the royal table of despot Stefan Lazarević. The sweat of farmers, vine growers, runs through the roots of our vines, the farmers who established the Vencats Winemakers Cooperative at the dawn of the 20th century. At that time, this was an unbelievable winery, furnished with electricity when Belgrade, for example, was still lit by gas lamps. The winery was producing sparkling wines when very few in Serbia had even heard of champagne. The lineage of our wine is enlightened by the crown of the Karađorđević dynasty, the crowns of King Petar I and Alexander, who built the cellar at the foot of Oplenats between the two world wars to produce wine for the royal courts of Europe. Their unique vineyard, which spread over 100 hectares, was destroyed during the communist regime, but has been lovingly restored by the King Petar I Karađorđević Foundation. We had the honor of taking part in the renewal of their first wine. But before that, we had the honor and privilege of returning to Serbia its first grape wine after more than 70 years, having received the original recipe of varieties from the former royal vigneron, Ivan Tadić, who emigrated to Canada after World War II. Triumph was once the leading wine of the royal cellar and the banner of Oplenats winemaking. Today, Triumph is our icon and is placed at the peak of our spiritual lineage. In an effort to bring together the centuries, our memories, and the tales of our grandfathers and our spiritual fathers, we have also nurtured a wine that will tell the story of our lineage in years to come. Its name is Rodoslov. Who among us owes nothing to wine? Asked the greatest Serbian writer, Nobel laureate Ivo Andrić, in his famous essay, Wine. Is there anyone in our spiritual, Serbian, Balkan or European space to whom wine brings absolutely no memories, not a single powerful thought on his own life, on the paths, faces and landscapes that live inside us forever? From our christening to our death, from our early loves to late ones, from youthful associations to lifetime friendships, wine has a magical power of awakening our memories, making us stop and think about our own lives and what we treasure most. These are all memories of times we've shared with our loved ones. Wine, however, also awakens our memories of those times when it hasn't been present in our lives, times when Serbian traditions, households, and winemaking were in decay. We also remember the times when our grandfathers raised their vineyards and shut down the cellars because they didn't want to pour their wine down the gorge of the communist wine industry. But we also remember the times when our grandfathers and our fathers, with the few vines left to them, brought their wines to the family table on our family holidays, solemnly, respectfully, as if they were placing a candle dedicated to the family's patron saint to pray and thank God for their peace of heaven and earth. With this memory, at the end of the 20th century, one spring morning we planted the first vine in our new vineyard, solemnly, gracefully, as if we were placing our patron saint's candle on our table. This candle illuminated our path, the path of wine. The scents of grapes and wine are the scents of our childhood. Unusual scents born from the land of our planets, scents that hit you so hard they make you stop in your tracks to wake from a dream, remembering certain days, loved ones, and the simple pleasures of life which we often forget. These are the scents of the peaches in bloom in our grandfather's vineyard, the scent of grapes hanging from the vines among which we would hide in our childhood games. These are the scents of the forests of our planets and the first mushrooms after the rain. The white flowers painting the meadows below our vineyards overnight. The scents of ripening peaches and apricots in our father's orchards. The linden in May in our uncle's yard. Freshly cut grass radiating its scent over the hills of our planets while the mowers wipe their dripping brows, tossing around loud jokes and laughter. The dried fruit on Christmas Eve. It's also the scent of the freshly ironed tablecloth on a family holiday when mother drapes it over the table, filling it with the scents of food grown by her own hands in the garden by her house. This is the scent of merrymaking throughout the night of celebrations of the family patron saint, when the nearest and dearest gather at the table and raise their glasses of our planet's wine and sing until daybreak. These are the scents, the colors, the tastes we seek in our wines. Triumph was our first wine, our first winemaker's fear, our gaze at the sky, and also our first winemaking hope. The wonderful feeling in the stomach that only a winemaker knows while he listens to the fermentation in his cellar. Triumph was also a great obligation, a serious word forgotten in Serbian winemaking, one we had to say again loud and clear, which we tried to make for 10 years until we got to know our grapes and our land. And then the vintage of 2002 brought us the harvest we were waiting for. Then we stood before the people and said proudly, "This is Triumph, the wine born again after 70 years. We offer it to you to recognize in it the sense of our land, the story of the time of its glory and its oblivion." Encouraged, we produced the first Serbian barrique wine, Triumph Barrique. From Muscat Hamburg grapes, we produced the most popular Serbian rosé, Varianta. We began our premium line of wines, Triumph Gold, Triumph Barrique, Triumph Noir and Rodoslov, in strictly limited quantities and made from grapes from the best harvests and from locations where high-quality grape varieties give the very best results. And finally, as a tribute to the Venchats cooperatives, we're once again producing sparkling wines in Šumadija. In the meantime, Triumph wine has been named as one of the greatest Serbian brands. In accepting this award, we realized something unusual. We had never thought that a wine could become a brand, yet it happened. Perhaps it was because while nurturing the wines, we never thought of them as brands. Maybe this is the only way for wine to become a brand. We realized one more thing. You must never forget the past if you want to create a wine for the future. To everything there is a season, as the Holy Bible says. A time to be born and a time to die, a time for joy and a time for sorrow. For wine, everything is a matter of time. The time it takes for the vines to start bearing fruit, the time for the vine grower to get to know his vineyard, the time for the cellar keeper to discover the care a wine from a particular vineyard needs, the time for the wine to mature, the time for people to get to know and love it, the time it takes both the grower and the winemaker to see if they're on the right track. Wine demands that you find time to dedicate to it, to find time for the loved ones you want to share it with. When we speak about our wine, we're speaking of the times of birth and death, disaster and triumph, sorrow and joy, along with the fact that we've devoted all our passion, all our knowledge, all our time to the quest for our wine below the corner of heaven, above the earth, above our planets. Wine is a quest for the colors of dusk and dawn of that corner of heaven beneath which you've planted your vines, hoping that one day they will reveal to you what they whisper to the heavens at dawn, or when night descends over their leaves and grapes. A quest for the scents of the earth and the fruit it bears, a quest through memories and dreams, a quest for perfection. It's a search for the perfect drop that brings revelation and unveils the secret liaison between nature, the vine, and man. Our quest is not completed, quite the contrary, it's just beginning, without any illusion that the secret will be revealed one day. But what is in store for us on this path is the exciting part. Join us. Aleksandrović Winery is a household concern which now encompasses 75 hectares of our own vineyards and produces wines exclusively from the grapes grown in these vineyards. We have also built a state-of-the-art 3,000 square meter cellar with a capacity of 300,000 liters of wine per year, and a tasting room which can hold more than 100 visitors at a time. But above all, Aleksandrović Winery is recognized by its wines. The sparkling wine Triumph, which we usually call Shumadinac, the white wines Oplen, Tema, Harisma, Triumph, Triumph Gold and Triumph Barrique. The rosé wines Varianta, Euphoria, Triumph Rosé. The red wines Vizia, Triumph Noir, Regent, Rodoslav, and finally, we're proud to present our dessert wine, Triumph Late Harvest, produced from grapes harvested in November. These are the ones we wish to present to you, to present to your beautiful land, our history, our culture, and our tradition, as well as our vision for the future.